When I was 15, I heard that if I slept with a textbook under my pillow, the information would enter my head via osmosis. When I was doing my French GCSE, I was convinced that if I listened to myself speaking French on loop every day while I was asleep, somehow I'd become fluent. Over the years, I've learned a lot more about the basic science of learning, and I feel like there are just so many study myths which need to be busted. We're generally not taught how to study, and so a lot of how we end up revising is trial and error or things we've heard from people. I hope this video helps you study smarter, not harder. Let's talk about study myths and what you should do instead. This video is also very kindly sponsored by Markup. In my book, The Only Study Guide You'll Ever Need, I discussed a basic framework, some questions that you can ask yourself to turn sad, miserable, ineffective study techniques into something I call sad revision techniques. If you can fulfill the criteria of S, A, and D, then you have got an evidence-based, scientifically backed revision technique which is actually going to serve you well for exams, based off of research. Throughout this video, I'm going to come back to the SAD framework and maybe you'll find it useful to help you remember some of the things we're going to talk about. The first big myth is studying longer, not smarter. We've all seen them on YouTube. 12-hour study with me. 10-hour, all night, non-stop study with me. There is no greater feeling, no bigger ego boost than sitting at your desk consistently non-stop and studying. Not taking a single break because, you know, you're just a revision god. I'm sorry to say, longer does not equal better. Rather than studying for longer hours, study more frequently and more strategically. This is the forgetting curve of human memory. Every time you learn something new, your memory is at 100%. Imagine if we just meet and you tell me that your name is Charlotte. For the first few minutes, I've got it in my brain, but the issue is with human memory is that it exponentially starts to decay. At the end of the party, at the end of the day, I might not remember your name anymore. But as you can see in this curve, if you revisit the same information at regularly increasing intervals, then you can boost your memory back up to 100%. For example, 1 hour after meeting you, I recall to myself, your name is Charlotte. Then at the end of the day, I recall to myself, her name was Charlotte. 5 days later, what was her name? It was Charlotte. A week later, her name was Charlotte, and all of a sudden, it is ingrained in my long-term memory what your name was. This is the S in a SAD revision technique. S is for spaced repetition. Don't study for longer, study more strategically. Studying 10 hours in the library without breaks is not a power move. Number 2, big study myth. We often think that passively highlighting is helping us learn the information. Highlighting your textbook, highlighting text is not you memorizing information. Rereading and highlighting are like the start of the study process. You know, like when you're trying to find the information that you're going to put onto your flashcards or the information that you're going to try and make yourself learn. Like it is useful to go through and highlight these tidbits, to reread it to yourself. But research has shown that these techniques don't actually ingrain these things into your memory. So you've still got to do it. This very conveniently brings me onto the sponsor of today's video, Markup. If you're reading a lot of academic articles, consuming a lot of information, and you keep flitting between note-taking softwares to try and capture it all, Markup is so incredible for organizing this information and for highlighting text in a meaningful way. They have such a cool Chrome extension where you can highlight and save articles, you can put little helpful tags, you can auto-summarize to help your learning, and then it's so easy. You just go to My Markups, you've got all your saved web pages there. I've literally become obsessed with using this for university. Every time I have a new essay to write, I compile all my articles in one workspace on Markup. I used to always lose articles and it was a huge issue when I came to cite them, but now I just head to my little workspace over there. And I don't know if you followed my New Year's resolutions video, but if you did, you would know that one of my goals for this year is to learn more about decentralized finance and crypto. I finally started bringing together all my resources on climate-backed crypto, and it's just so much easier to access everything and look at the notes I've written. When you're first learning something new, it is so important to centralize that information, so if you're looking to improve your workflow, download Markup below. So you've gathered your information, you've highlighted it.